All right, welcome back to Off the Mat with the Matburn crew. George, Bob, Adam. So this is our first time, guys.
Yep.
You know, so bear with us as we mess up or whatever may happen.
Awkward first podcast.
Awkward first podcast or awkward first episodes. All right, so today what we want to do is, again, we've talked about it. We want to talk about effort versus outcome, and then we really want to talk about, your experience being off the mat for how long?
40 plus years.
40 plus years, and then hopping into beach wrestling with absolutely no idea what really beach wrestling was going to feel like or your body in general.
It wasn't what I expected.
So we're going to get to Adam and really his experience on that, which is going to be pretty dope right there. And then really just how we feel as, you know, when we go into competing or practice, like, are we thinking about outcomes? Are we thinking about the effort we're putting in, and like what's more important as we get into that adult stage of, you know, athletics and, you know, activities and hobbies and things like that. So, but let's get started with so Adam, give us a rundown. Like, how did you feel beforehand? Like when you signed up, like what did you have in your mind this was going to be like in your mind? Did you visualize like what it was going to be like at any point?
But with the rules, it wasn't what I thought the rules were going to be. It was a lot looser than what I thought.
All right, so with the rules, let's go over the rules. The rules were, what was it, like 7 meters, the diameter of it?
That's what it was to put the official ones, like 7 meters.
Yeah, so this one was a little bit less. This might have been like, I don't know. What are you thinking?
The rules?
No, the size of the actual wrestling area.
Yeah, small.
So think about probably like what, 10 feet across, if that?
I think it said it was 16.
16 feet across. So we'll say 16 feet across. And then you get a point if you get pushed out of the circle. You get 2 points, or you get a point for a takedown, and 2 points if you take them down to their back.
Yeah.
And it's up to 5.
Yeah, I thought, well, normally it's up to 3. There it was up to 5. And I thought it would be like kind of like Greco or something, like once your knees and the hand went down, you were down. But it wasn't like that. They actually let you wrestle it out, which was kind of cool. I wasn't expecting that though. So it wasn't so different though. Like it was still wrestling. But you know, after 40 years, it was a lot. Like the first guy, he was a lot younger than me. He was throwing me around like a rag doll. And I remember telling my daughter before she started wrestling, when people are yelling to you, don't hear anything. I heard everything. And I distinctly remember hearing his kids, suplex him again, Dad, as I'm flying through the air. Just pretty humiliating. But no, it was cool though. You know, it was a lot of fun to get back out there and get into it. And, you know, I put everything into it. It was a lot of fun. It was cool. I can't wait to do it again.
So what were you thinking when you were like, they're about to go, referee, you're on the sand, you're about to go. Like you see your opponent, he's going to blow the whistle. At that moment, like what's running through your mind? Like you haven't been on this, any type of situation in terms of any type of wrestling. Like what is running through your mind?
This particular thing was that guy looks big. He looks big. But he was bigger than me. Because the lowest weight class they have is 155. I'm generally around 140. But he was bigger. And that was the first thing I noticed. I was like, look at his arms. The second guy was even bigger than the first guy, though, which is nuts. But yeah, no, I was just like, what am I gonna do? I went right in.
Yeah.
Which for the first guy wasn't a great thing to do because he tied me up and just started throwing me around. But you know, it was what it was.
It was what it was. Nah, I mean, I think it was a good experience. I mean, Bob, you looking on, what did you feel like seeing all the adult guys and gals?
You know, it was pretty interesting. It was cool. I was surprised of how small the circle actually turned out to be. So you really didn't have a lot of room. Room for error there. Yeah, man, I thought it was pretty cool. You know, just getting down there in the sand, get down and dirty.
Yeah, I thought for me, I was always worried about, because I wear contacts.
Yeah.
So I thought the sand would be really like all into my eyes and things of that nature. It wasn't too bad.
I warned my son about that. Before Bobby had done it, I warned him, hey, listen, there's a possibility you're going to get sand in your eyeballs. And I've had experience with that, just as a kid, just getting face covered with mud and dirt, my eyeballs just covered, and it's very uncomfortable.
Yeah.
It's like, if it happens, you know, just be cool and just rinse your eyeballs out and keep going. You
Yeah, I didn't find it to be too much of an issue. I think the difference is though, they really go after your face though, because they're trying to push you out.
Mm-hmm.
So I did get poked in the eye, so I kind of feel like that was something I wasn't so used to, like always someone just kind of just going towards your neck,
Your
off
upper
the bat.
body.
Yeah, because they're really just trying to push
It's
you
a different
out.
animal. Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
usually in wrestling, you know, you're trying to get to the leg or something along those lines. So I
Yeah,
thought
being
that was
in the
something.
sand, going for legs is definitely different.
Yeah, yeah.
How was the traction?
It wasn't bad. The sand was
It wasn't
wet.
that bad. It was, but I was curious to know if that was just that particular day or
Well, it rained the night
would it,
before.
would it
so
normally be that. Yeah, because I didn't really find it to be a problem.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't slipping too much, but it was more of just I
Like
felt like
it
we
was
were able to
soft
hand
sand.
fighting. Yeah,
Soft sand would have been a lot different.
yeah, because your feet were
And
so I'd
another
imagine.
thing that like they didn't come out and rake the sand between the matches or anything. There was like
No,
lots of
that's
divots
true.
everywhere.
That is true.
Just kind of
Kinda weird.
compact.
And yeah, I think we were-
Well, it was very uneven.
Yeah. Okay.
The adults were the last ones too, so by that time, you know, if there wasn't any like kind of traction issue, it was already solved.
Yeah.
But yeah, so yeah, I thought it was a good time. I thought my style wouldn't really work, but it didn't affect me too bad in terms of that. Yeah, so it didn't affect me too bad. But it is I feel like it was definitely a more aggressive style of wrestling
Yeah.
that I'm just not accustomed to. I felt like it was more you get like heated quick, just because of the way that they come out.
It
off
was.
the
It's
bat.
only one period.
Yes,
You
it's
gotta
only
get everything done then.
3 minutes.
so it's only one period, 3 minutes or 5 points, whichever comes first.
Yeah.
So I think that also plays a role in what you have to do in that time frame. But yeah, we had a couple guys. We had Danny McCall. T took first. A shout out to him. Amanda took third in her
No,
first
she got
ever.
second.
Oh, second. For her first ever wrestling tournament of any kind. So she hopped in just with no experience whatsoever and just said, hey, I'm going to go for this. So shout out to her. She did a great job. Then we had Dave, who took second. He did a great job as well. Shout out to him. I think he could have got first, but I think he was tired. And he knew he was tired. And then yourself, you took third. We got the judge, who also took third in the weight class. So shout out to them. Awesome job. We'll continue to kind of move into that aspect, and we'll probably do something next year as well for the beach wrestling. But I thought it was a really good experience for me, at least. It was something new that I hadn't tried. So I think overall I had a good experience in terms of that. Shout out to what was the tournament called?
It was the Wildwood Maury's Mania Beach Wrestling.
Yeah. Shout out to Maury's Mania's Beach Wrestling. Great event, and hopefully Matburn
Yeah, it
will
was
do next
really-
year.
It run really well.
It was more serious than I thought it would be.
I'm getting that a lot because sometimes I don't take it serious, and then it got serious
It
quick.
was far more serious than I thought it would be.
Yeah. I didn't realize how serious it was going to be. I think there was a higher caliber of wrestlers there. Because wrestling itself is kind of a crazy thing to do, but then you throw it on the beach, like that's like the really special kind of person that's willing to go down there in the sand.
Attacking a different way.
Yeah.
I mean, you saw like even with the little kids, man. Little kids, they
It's
came out
intense.
fire. It's just a
Intense,
lot of
yeah.
kids were just going in hard, and if you weren't ready for it, man, I mean, I saw a lot of kids crying. Like they're just taking a beat.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I think it was good. I think it was I mean, for me, I think it was just I mean, I got lit a fire. Like, that aggressiveness of some people just not used to.
Okay.
Oh yeah. All right. So we'll talk about this story right now because he just said it. So in my second match, so mind you, the judge, as you may not know the judge or does you know the judge, he got moved down to our weight class at 165. So I ended up getting a bye, so I could see him versus an opponent. And so I was watching the match with everybody else, and I just didn't like how the guy acted towards the judge in general. The judge is in his late 60s.
69.
Late 60s. And the guy he was wrestling against, it was probably my age, 40s, early 40s, maybe late 30s. So obviously there's a big age difference. So it was basically, he was bullying the judge around for really no reason. So I ended up getting him. The guy will beat the judge. And so he came out really fired up and really overly aggressive, and something that I really wasn't trying to go too hard in because I wasn't, I'm not used to it and didn't know what to expect. So it's not much I could do. And then it's just, I just wasn't having it. So, I mean, I might have gave up a point. I don't really remember. He might have took me out of bounds. He might have got 2 on me off the bat. But I didn't like the aggressiveness. And so I literally just blast double him and made sure my forehead was like right in between his chest. That when he landed on the sand, I felt my forehead nail his ribs to where he was like, and then when he tried to get up, I pushed him down and said some choice words that he heard and the referee heard. I'm not sure if anybody else heard. And when I got up, he was out of bounds. So when I got up, I moved a foot away from the out of bounds. And I was just right in his face. Like, I wouldn't move back, and I wouldn't really let him get in. So the referee was trying to, like, was trying to push me back like this. Every time he kept doing that, I kept pushing his hand away. So he might have done it 3 times, and I'm pushing his hand away and not moving from where I was and really not letting my opponent really come in and be able to set. So the referee got to the point to say, like, behind me, started pointing to the sand where he wanted me to be and say, aquí, aquí, like, in Spanish, that I should be here because he thought I didn't speak English. And while he's saying that, I'm thinking, like, I don't think he thinks I speak English. But I never said anything. I did step back. So that I thought it was funny at the moment. And then when I told these two, I was like, it was pretty funny. Shout out to that referee because he was just having a good time. He was just trying to keep the situation light. But yeah, that was I think that was the funniest moment of the tournament for me.
Are you surprised that guy was as aggressive as he was?
I didn't
with
know
the nature of the sport. I mean, you have to have a level of aggression. You know, so at like what point is it too much?
You know, that's a good question. I'm not sure. Like, I've done a couple tournaments already in my later stage, 30s and above, and it's always been like, you know, hey, what's up? You shake the hand, you smile. You guys know that, like, this isn't for, like, a gold medal for $1 million. It's like, you're here to kind of just give it a good go and, you know, go to work the next day.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I think that's, again, that's what you have to gauge.
I would say when you have your age divisions, maybe there should be some kind of expectation that, you know, you're going to wrestle to a level where you can go to work the next day, right? We're not trying to, like, kill each other at this age. So I'm thinking back in my Mawa experience last March, I had the mentality of going in for my first match, you know, training for almost a month, rolling around a couple days a week. Felt, you know, confident, very technical. I was just going to go in there, work my moves, and the young kid, like, right off the bat, just give me that hard club right across my head, and it's like, okay, we're brawling here.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I think that's, I mean, and I do jiu-jitsu, and I think it's important you just got to reach to the level. I'm used to, like, all right, if I'm going to go with you, and I see the type of energy you're pushing out, I'm going to try to equal that energy.
I don't know, like, I could certainly be aggressive. I mean, when I had my match against that kid, I had to turn on the aggression to meet his aggression, but it would never occur to me to go out there and just club the shit out of somebody right off the bat.